Titans running the Thief, so the Thief will help out in the early game with running away and managing initiative, but the Red Mage is probably going to help out more mid to late game, depending on how the spells fall.
I'd also say with Kaiten's strategy, level 1 nuke, that's not to be underrated.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now the Red Mage is looking even better.
And level 1 life over in the White Magic side. They went to opposite stores first, but that's a pretty healthy level 1 magic selection. But I was going to say with Kaiden's strategy, it looks a little more anticipating, I'll say, of class change, hoping for a really good weapon for the Thief turned Ninja and a little more availability for the Red Mage.
And I would like to see the Thief in the front slot if you do run it. The Thief can't really help you with the initiative and preventing ambushes if he is in the second slot.
Also, we shouldn't overlook the fact that Sho gets 2 characters with level 1 nuke thanks to his party composition, so early game especially, I think that'll be very helpful.
Yeah, he should be very comfortable clearing out Temple of Fiends. Doesn't feel like he needs to save any nuke charges when he comes up against large groups.
Sho's going to give us our first look at the Temple of Fiends. A little bit of money, and the floater.
Alright, so this is going to be a very interesting seed. Floater doesn't often come early, which means you can bypass the Volcano, the typical routing after TNT. So I would love to see where people go from here. I anticipate there will be the Volcano still, but this is definitely good opportunities for gambles.
I agree that I would still go to the Volcano just because it's a little more right pace for the levels in my opinion, but I would pick up the airship first and use that to move faster.
I agree, and I also think you can pick up a lot of the chests in the Cardia Islands and Titan's Tunnel area as well.
Trystal giving everyone a friendly reminder to not skip the floater chest.
And we have Sho first to knock Garland down.
Nuke nicely takes care of business.
Looks like Heal 3 was available at level 1. That's going to pay off big in the Volcano.
Which it is worth noting, by the way, one of the things the randomizer fixes is the actual amounts that Heal 3 does, so it's a little more viable than it is in vanilla. Of course, they are still going to need TNT before they're able to consider getting the canoe and, by extension, the airship. They still have a few chances to pick that up without having to go to the Marsh Cave, but odds are.
We have Heal 3 and Life in the wrong slot for the Red Mage.
Very expensive silver swords. The price range in shops, if I'm recalling correctly, goes up to 240% in this round. So, even though that silver sword's the best one you could buy for a red mage, it may not happen.
Yeah, I would definitely hold off, especially given level 1 nuke. You'll have plenty of charges by the time you find a better sword.
Worthy of note, because we just saw it in the item shop, you'll always find pures and softs for sale in the first item shop. That's in order to prevent you getting messed up by enemy skills. And usually a good idea to bank a couple of those softs, because you do not know what you're going to run into after you get away from the store that has them, and you don't know when you'll find another one that does.
Also a good idea to pick up the soft spell if you have it. That way you can purchase less soft potions and just rely on the spell. But yeah, it's always a good idea to have those soft potions. You never know when you're going to run into an enemy with the petrification poison ability, and it can really wreck your day.
And it looks like a little route diversion early on. Kaiten gonna go straight to Provoca. Sho gonna check the chest for Matoya's cave first.
Alright, so we'll get our first glance at what the witch has been holding.
There you go. TNT. And Heel Helmet is not a bad pickup going into the Volcano. So Sho will go straight to the Dwarf Cave from here, after he gets the ship, of course. Kaiten will have to sail back up to the cave first, so that should give Sho a few seconds advantage.
Meanwhile, Kaiten running straight into the pirate battle, and they don't give him any trouble, but I'm waiting for that seed, that one seed where pirates end up having Death Touch.
I didn't have them with Death Touch, but I had them where they had an AoE that could one-shot me, so I had 9 AoE one-shot death spells to deal with.
Yikes.
I started a new seed.
I don't blame you. Question in chat, what are the force classes? It's White Mage, and that's it, so pretty friendly as far as force classes go.
Yeah, might very well have been a choice of the runners, regardless of having been forced, so... But honestly, at this point in the tournament, level 2 Fade and Exit are... This seed is just being really nice on the early magic.
Yeah, it being level 2, the red mages have access to that as well.
But I want to give a lot of credit to all the runners at this point. I think everybody that's in the tournament now is somebody who can adapt to the circumstances they have. And if you give them a thief and they weren't planning on having it, they'll adapt. If you give them a red mage and they weren't planning on it, they'll adapt.
Yeah, and especially as you get into the later round flags, that's a skill that becomes more and more critical. And I think you're right. The folks who are still remaining have a pretty good feel for the strengths and weaknesses of all of the different classes available.
And also, we started this tournament over a month ago, so I mean, everybody knows that the forced classes are coming, so you pretty much have to be ready for that seed where you're forced to take a thief.
It's been interesting, though. A lot of the recent meta has been shifting to having a thief early. And I think that's not a terrible idea if you're committing 100% to doing the black belt level grind. Here we have Kaiten.
Kaiten's going to pick up the TNT. So both players having the black belt, it will be interesting to see what levels they go to. Are they going to go for the big grind? Are they going to go for something more mild with the magic that they have? Miles is upset over typing what you're saying. Is he scripting for you? Is this a teleprompter stream?
I hope not. Because knowing Files, he would make me read something unpleasant.
Nice price on the tents, by the way, so certainly expect to see plenty of those picked up.
And the heal potions are pretty nice as well. So it looks like Sho is about done with shopping, just burning a heal potion so he can get the 99th.
And I mentioned already with the softs that you don't want to take the chance of needing them and not having access to them. I also believe that true of the heals, because I've had enough seats where I go to Crescent Lake and they're not for sale.
Yeah, that's always a bad feeling. Either when you don't have any heal potions getting into Crescent Lake, or you have about 3 tents you're looking forward to avoiding all those river encounters and Nope, they don't have any for sale.
Well, we're getting a look at the Elfland shops. Wall, Harm, 3. A lot of good stuff available. That money might be an issue at this point, actually. He's only got 4,000, so he's got to select which one of these spells he wants that he's actually able to get.
If he runs into a cash crunch, though, he does have the heal helmet he can sell, but it looks like there's not much else that he wants.
He's also going to take advantage to look at a few of the other shops. You always want to know where a few things are. The gold bracelets are one of those I always want to know where they are. The pro rings, obviously. And you got to keep an eye open for the bottle.
Oh, a temper in the black magic shop. Very nice to see. And especially with Sho running the red mage, black mage, he can have 2 casts of temper right at the start of a fight.
So with TNT in hand, Kaiten's going to go see some dwarfs and move on without visiting the marsh cave at this stage of the game, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see it.
Well, Slab or Crown could easily be down there, or even worse, all 3 ribbons, but that's significantly less likely. Looks like Sho tried to pick up Fog too on the red mage, and that didn't work out either.
Since you mentioned the ribbons and chain of thoughts, it bears mentioning, I think, that in this round of the tournament, neither Ice Cave or Ordeals is incentivized, so while they could still have something, it's the same chance as anywhere else.
Yep, and with early floater, Marsh, Ice, and Ordeals are available to check out fairly quickly. Just, I don't think it's good right now to do a gamble. I think it's a little too early to decide on that.
Yeah, I agree. I would go for the required dungeons first and then only branch out when I need to. Although I will say, if you think you are up against a better opponent, it's better to have your strategy in advance of what you're going to do to change things up, and that might include going to an optional dungeon and seeing if you dig something out that would give you an advantage. So Melmond has not much in the white magic side. And in the black magic side, we've got Lightning 3, which Gaiden is not going to spend the money on just yet. Don't blame him for that either, because he's about to go over to Crescent Lake and still wants money for those shops as well. They just about high five in Melmond.
I always feel like having money for the Melmond shops is one of the harder things to do. Generally, you've spent a lot of money coming out of Elfland, and if the treasure chests in Dwarf Cave don't give you anything you can sell or any money, then you really just have to sail on by and hope there wasn't anything critical there.
Especially if you skipped Marsh Cave, which obviously they did since early TNT. Being asked if you need canoe to get airship, yes you do, because you can't sail there without it. So, but the sages will give you the canoe even without having beaten the Earth Fiend.
And that feels bad for Sho, getting the black belt petrified after getting a bunch of experience from that formation.
That was the Scorpions that had that?
Yep.
Well, that's going to make for a fun water temple, isn't it?
Oh, we'll see what the lobsters have.
Sorry.
But the scorpions, they like hanging out in Marsh Cave too.
Well, then now Sho's really glad he didn't have to go there. And
Wow.
stun touch for the trolls.
Even more importantly, though, it looked like those trolls rolled very high on attack, hitting Kaiden's characters for over 100.
Broadster visiting us in chat, pointing out he's got winner, which he does. That would be the next matchup in the brackets. Warp available at level 6. And these things are hitting hard.
Oh, and wow, Kaiden's in trouble. Yeah.
He will have to reset.
And just like that, Sho's jumped into the lead.
Might have to resort to some basic RNG manipulation of just save, reset, and take a few steps and do it again, but Sho is just about down to the desert to pick up the airship. Gonna take Kaiten a few more seconds.
I got a question in chat saying Nuke in the vanilla version can only be learned by the Black Wizard. Did the randomizer change it to be usable by Black Mage? So the way the randomizer works is it will shuffle the spells but keep the permissions of the spell that was originally in the slot. So since it's a level 1 spell, and I think Nuke landed in the same slot as Fire, it's learnable by the Black Mage.
Also worthy of noting, we saw the bottle for sale in Crescent Lake.
We have Warp at level 6 and Life 2 at level 6.
Sho is going to opt to check out the island chests before he goes into a dungeon. He's seeing some good stuff for a fighter, but that's not really that helpful right now.
And I like the move to check these beforehand. You haven't seen very much in the way of equipment, especially considering TNT and Floater came early. So before heading into a required dungeon, maybe you can find a ribbon or some pro rings. Black shirt, very useful in the Volcano.
Free Ice 2 casts available.
And thank you to Broadster for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Much appreciated.
Here's my question for you, Edge. Did somebody tell you that you could use items for free spells, or did you find that out on your own?
I first played this game when I was, I think, 3 years old. And it was, my parents helping me along, explaining with the strategy guide what each of the items did.
I happened to find it because I was looking for something to do other than run in a fight, and I said, oh, I'll see what the heal staff does.
There was a beta mod that Entroper did that shuffled the abilities on items as well. So it was kind of funny using a wooden helmet and watching it cast Fire 3.
Sho going to visit the Titan, who, for you fans of the Titan, is unfortunately going to go hungry today. Asked how the runners got the canoe. You do not need to beat the Earth Fiend to get the canoe in the randomizer, thanks to one of the fixes, because otherwise logic blocks could end up creating a problem where you need the canoe, but you can't get the canoe, and so you're blocked. Prevents that, which many people may not realize in vanilla, that you can't get the canoe without beating Lich, because you can go to Crescent Lake before you do. And hopefully what I said was coherent.
And another subscription from Spoose Cow. Thank you very much.
And looks like Sho's gonna pick up the bottle, which makes me wonder if he's thinking the Sea Shrine before Volcano. He's gonna sell off some of the stuff he found as well.
It might not be a bad gamble, given the fact that he has so much in the way of strong AoE. I would be very, very scared of running into a pack of 5 ghosts and not thinning them out quick enough, though. And it looks like pro rings are readily available for both runners.
Well, it looks like instead Sho was just thinking, I better make sure I don't forget where the bottle is, so he heads to the Volcano.
It's not a bad idea to pick it up early as well. It'll help you manage your inventory in case you pick up another key item and it shuffles your heal potions in a very inconvenient location. That can seriously slow down progress during a grind.
And here we go with our look at the peds. Looks like they've got between 200 and 230 hit points.
And Sho will definitely take that fight. It's a lot of experience for not much time invested. Question in chat, bottle with fairy and it will heal you if you die too, right? Yes, but only if you have the bug net.
Speaking of, I'm sure there's a link to the past Randomizer tournament match following us. Ice Shield, again, nice for the fighter that they don't have.
It's still worth hanging on to it in case you class change the ninja, but that won't even be an option for Sho.
Sho happy to see a 4-pack of peds and get a nice pack of experience to be rewarded for it. Ice armor. Getting the impression money's not going to be much of an issue from now on.
Especially if they decide to do a grind, then they are pretty set. And of course, those cheap pro rings certainly help.
Worth noting, these fires are unrunnable in not Temple of Fiends, in the Gurgu Volcano. They are also unrunnable in Temple of Fiends, though, so.
Yep, wherever you run into them, they cannot be run from. And hey, speaking of ninjas, there's the tail.
So now I'm fairly certain we'll see class change happen, but after they get the black belt leveled up.
Another question in chat, is Thief basically a high-risk, high-reward choice? A lot of times people are going into the Thief selection understanding that he may not be very useful in the end game. He's really useful for controlling initiative early on, as Sho finds the defense sword. The character in the lead slot, depending on their luck and agility, that combined, that goes into a calculation to determine ambush rates and preemptive strikes. So the usefulness of the Thief early comes in being able to run away effectively and being able to manage initiative. Of course, if you promote the Thief in this seed, he'll be able to learn Nuke as well, so that'll be nice.
And Sho has ducked out of the volcano to sell some of this gear off. And looks like he's going to take advantage of the shop in Crescent Lake to pick up gold bracelets for his mages and pro rings as well. As Kaiten is going to find the tail now. I actually find this a really interesting decision by Sho, because if you're planning to kill those mages off and power level up your black belt, then coming here would delay the process instead of coming after you finish the grind.
With the airship, it doesn't take very long, and it also makes the walk down to the volcano, through the volcano, much safer. There are a lot of enemies with very high attack stats, like red giants and fire elementals and red dragons that you can run into. And looks like the red gargoyles have blaze, and that is a wipe for Kite.
Something about those red gargoyles, it seems every seed I play, they are just one of the worst.
Especially in round 2 flags, where the abilities are shuffled amongst the enemies that already have skill and spell scripts. It's very likely that the red gargoyles remain as annoying or even more annoying than they are in vanilla. Now, that chest with 185 gold that Sho walked by is guarded by an Agama trap tile in the front, and I like to just take an early look at that while I still have max HP on all of my characters, just to know if he has something particularly frightening that I'm going to have to deal with.
And with scouts and spells shuffled, there is plenty that Agma could pick up that is going to make you look for something else to grind on. With no ribbon, you definitely don't want to see a stone touch. Still nothing spectacular I've seen on this floor. And we get ready for our first look at the Agma here. And we'll get a look at his skills, because Sho's going to finish him off before he goes.
Question in chat, is Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI Randomizer possible? Yes, and both of them have reasonably mature randomizer implementations. 6 has a randomizer called Beyond Chaos, and 4 has a randomizer called the Lunarian Shuffle. So you can Google both of those and get more information.
Agamas have dark. That's not one that you're going to be too worried about.
What you are concerned about is what is next after dark, and that becomes less of an issue with the more levels you get into the grind. If there's something nasty immediately after dark, you can still use the Agamas to grind. It's a lot safer once you've gotten your black belt up to the point where he can guaranteed one-hit the Agama.
So he's doing a first stage grind right now because he wants to get enough on those mages to be worthwhile. What would you be shooting for in his situation?
I would look at which of the characters I feel needs more levels. So, for example, the if the white mage had a very powerful spell, like maybe the only life spell, but it was at level 6, I may leave the white mage up a little longer just to get extra spell charges and let the red mage and black mage die. So it's very situational, but what I typically like to do is leave characters, enough characters alive where I can get through one of these Agama fights in one round.
So we see cremate as the other skill available for the Agmas.
That's very nice to see. The Agamas seem to be pretty friendly.
And now Kaiten gonna high five Sho in the same room.
And they're gonna be high-fiving a lot.
Jacober asking if cremate is friendly. Well, I would say versus death or stone touch with no ribbon. Yeah, I'd call cremate pretty friendly, all things considered.
I mean, it's not as friendly as Agama. Like, so for example, Agama just cast heal 2 on himself, but thanks to the enemy bug, it does nothing.
Level 17 now for Sho. So here we are 30 minutes in. I guess it's a good time for a recap and what we've seen so far. Our runners went into the Temple of Fiends and they found the floater. They went to Matoi's cave, which is where they found the TNT, so they have currently not been to the Marsh Cave. We found the bottle for sale in Crescent Lake. It's also where we found Warp and Life 2. We found the tail here in the Volcano. Both runners have the airship. They got Nuke at level 1, which is always a nice thing to find. And they have one forced party member, that is the White Mage. And I think that's a pretty fair summary of where we are at this point.
Only difference in progression items is Sho has the bottle and Kaiten does not, but both of them know that the bottle is in Crescent Lake, so it's just a very small diversion.
And Sho going to duck out of the Agama room and go walking through the lava. I have, as somebody who has done this grind strategy a few times, what I actually like to do as a slight variation on this is go visit the Red Dragon first. I like to do that with the full party.
I totally agree with you on that. And it's not just the Red Dragon that I'm worried about, but if there is something on the bottom floor whose abilities I haven't seen. The only way that I will typically not check the Red Dragon first is if I have access to a ribbon, because I feel significantly more safe in that situation.
It does make a difference. Sho using the items that won't do anything to burn the turn, and quickly at that.
Now the consequence of this, though, is that Agama has used both. I was curious what was after Cremate, and it looks like another Dark, so he should be fine.
So now he'll get 6,000 experience a fight and level 18.
So, that's a good point from Tristal. Dark is a spell, not a skill. So Cremate is the first skill in the Agama list, but he seems to like casting spells a lot more. That is the one that I always forget is actually a spell.
But if all goes to plan for Sho, he won't be seeing 2 spells in the same fight from Magmas from now on. Looks like we're having a little bit of lag possibly on Kaiten's stream, but he continues to grind.
He continues to use the heal helmet, which is very good at preserving potions, but very bad at preserving time. So each time he uses that, that's going to cost him with respect to his Sho's grind.
Kaiten did come in here at a lower level, though, so here he is only at level 15 now. He's got a little bit more to do on the grinding side. Although he's going to go ahead and change party formation now. And it looks like he's going to start wearing everybody down. Well, I say that and he goes and uses the heal helmet again.
Takes a cremate to the face, though.
So let's go a little generic. Edge, what's one thing you've learned out of watching all these tournament matches so far?
One thing that I've learned is sort of the usefulness of the thief. I always thought he was more of a dead character, but having the ability to have a guaranteed run early, especially with the way the randomizer fixes the run chances, leads me to believe that that character is more useful than I originally believed.
Files decided to answer my question, and he learned that blue screens of death make it hard to finish matches. I'd have to agree with that assessment. One thing I've learned is that I would not make plays once I'm in the seed as if something caused me to be behind, whether or not I think it did. And what I mean by that is maybe you get wiped out at one of the Fiends and you have to start over again. And I wouldn't play like that caused me to be behind, because it always is going to feel like it, but it's probably best to just stick with whatever my strategy is or adjust it as I need to, but not take a big gamble necessarily because I think I'm behind.
And I agree with that, especially in seeds with 300% stats or higher. The monster that just wiped you is very likely to have done the same thing to the other racers.
So if anyone could get us the Discord link in chat, now would be a good time for that. It's the best place to start for anyone who wants to get into the Final Fantasy I randomizer, including we have a nice handy-dandy room that is dedicated to helping people get started if you're new to it and have questions. And you will find lots of helpful people, and friendly ones as well. And Sho is going to break away from the grind. So we're about to get our look at the red dragon.
Thank you for the FFR link, Minochi. Now we have the unrunnable Cerebus Wizogre fight.
Not seen anything too ugly out of them so far. But what will the red dragon have? We'll never know, because Sho runs away. So it looks like Sho will most likely be the first one out of the Volcano, although don't want to take too much for granted. He still has carry to get past.
Question in chat, what was the force class? White Mage.
Fire 2 is the opening's volley from Carry. Not too threatening.
6 hits for 147, but that temper boost is going to increase that damage quite a bit.
And takes a big 400 punch there, so probably about done. And a 200 damage nuke will finish her off.
Another question in chat, why not revive the extra characters for the boss? Well, the life spell was not available to red mages in this seed.
So we have our first orb restored. And Sho's going to duck back in here to Crescent Lake to restore everyone.
So going with level 25 on the black belt, curious if he's going to pick up enough experience on the way through the game to get that black belt up to 32. That is the next major power spike.
In this round of the tournament, they've got the 5 times experience bonus. It does taper down as the rounds go on, so you're still going to get a pretty generous amount of experience along the way. And Sho is going to head down to see the Dragon King Bahamut. Who for some reason has an obsession with rat tails. Now also an important thing is don't miss out on picking up a good spell that you now have access to that you didn't before. And it looks like that's what Sho's thinking.
He's immediately going to go pick up Nuke on the... Oh no, he's going to try to learn Life on the Red Mage.
He will successfully. Not a bad
Kaiten.
backup.
Kaiten will be the one picking up Nuke on the Thief. And a question in chat about why Sho bothered with class change. I think it was just for life on the Red Mage. That's going to make things a lot safer going through Temple of Fiends.
Picks up Heal 2 out of Melmond. And Lightning 3 for his Red Wizard now.
Oh, Agamas also have slow too. What a pleasant bunch.
Well, that can mess up your strategy a little, but I think at this point he's beyond being too worried about that.
And it looks like someone noting in chat, Kaiten did not keep the tail after resetting due to the wipe.
That is pretty significant, I think, for his party.
I think he'll probably go back for it, but not immediately. Another question in chat, what round is this? This is round 2.
So now looking like Kaiten is ready to drop the Thief and Red Mage and just level up the Black Belt. And Sho has gone to the Ice Cave? That's an interesting choice.
That's an interesting gamble.
Now, the reason, just to explain why we're intrigued by this decision, is Ice Cave is not incentivized in this round. This is played under round 2 flags. So there could be something here, but it has the same chance as anywhere else. So typically that's not necessarily the play you would make. But it is close by. With Airship, it didn't take long to get to at all. And it's not really a long dungeon with a lot of chests in it. So there are advantages to this. Especially if you have Warp.
Yeah, and it's very likely that if there is something good in here, his opponent will not find it as fast. For example, Kaiten and a lot of the other runners are more likely to complete the Fiend dungeons first before checking the required area, or the optional areas.
And Stinger is a skill of choice for the sorcerers, so they keep the fun AoE. Just not quite as bad as their usual, I don't think.
Definitely not as bad as Trance, but still eats up some time, forces you to do some menuing. Another question in chat, is Eye not good for grinding? The Eye is actually better experience-wise than the Agama, but there are a couple of problems with its location. The first is that the Ice Cave has a lot of very unpleasant monsters, like mages, for example. And there are no back-to-back tiles, trap tiles, like there are in the Volcano. So every time you step off and step back on the eye tile, you may run into another enemy group. And the gamble paid off. Sho has the slab.
Couldn't pay off much more than that.
The other problem with the eye is once you've leveled up your character, you don't have access to exit or warp, so you have to do the long walk out. And if there are nasty things in the ice cave, they could either ambush you while you're leveling or while you're trying to exit.
So I think that's the most significant thing we've seen yet this seed. Because I find it very unlikely Kaiten is going to come here. So this could put Sho in a pretty good position, as Kaiten will have to come back here after the required dungeons.
Yeah, and it's a little bit better than... at least it's a little bit better for Kaiten than if it were the crown down here, because the slab, if Kaiten can't find the slab, he knows that at least it's not in Floating Castle.
This also means that Sho is gonna have full access to any dungeon he wants to go to now. And did we lose our feed of Sho's stream? No, there we go.
No, it looked like he was just distracted a bit.
Okay. Maybe figuring out where he wanted to go next. Last 3 treasure chests, we find the flame sword, which is not a bad find with that. I think that would be his best sword at this point, or would defense be better for a red wizard?
Defense would be better for the Red Wizard, and because of the promotion, he's able to equip it.
So it's a very nice find for Sho, and the world is totally open to him now. What will his next destination be? Looks like he's thinking translate the slab.
And now he has the slab translated.
Saving those extra steps by using exit.
It looks like Earth next. Now,
interesting choice.
Yeah, now we'll see if he decides to just check the chests in the top part of Earth and then leave, or if he decides to full clear this dungeon.
And looks like Kaiten has finally finished the Agma grind and is going to head over to see the Red Dragon.
Scares off that green ogre, so the extra level's paying off already.
That is one of the big advantages to doing it, is you'll get a lot of stuff that'll just leave you alone. Yeah, I guess that was about an extra 10 minutes that Kaiten spent on the Agmos, which wouldn't even actually be 10 minutes because he was to that fight later on. So probably a 6 to 8 minute grind.
Yeah, he did show up to that fight at a lower level than Sho, and a lot of his mages got quite a bit of experience during that fight. Now, this is a group that's absolutely terrifying to me, to the point where I wouldn't even bother running. I would just punch them. The red giants hit you so hard, and one crit is really all it takes for a third of your HP to disappear.
And he did go to level 32, of course. That was to get the full attack out of the black belt.
Another question in chat. I don't understand going straight to ice after Volcano. I don't really understand that move either. I'm looking forward to asking Sho about it.
He finds the ruby in the earth cave. I think that might not have been a move he would make if he didn't have warp, but he did, so he knew he was going to be able to get through the ice cave that much faster.
Oh gosh, that is a terrible group to run into. That Scorpion, if he would have punched Kaiten and petrified him, that would have been it for the grind.
I don't know if you heard me last night, but I talked about my extreme paranoia, including things like don't take a step without healing back up, don't take a step without saving, all those kinds of things. I've seen too much go wrong.
Yeah, that is a habit I am trying to break for myself. Fortunately, it hasn't cost me anything like the loss of a grind, but it certainly feels bad when you take one step out of the Earth Cave and run into a pack of 7 shadows.
Files says if you don't save 100%, you get shadow ambushed on the way to the airship. Sounds like he's in the same camp as me. Make sure you save.
Yeah, another comment in chat. I've seen some runners using the cell interface as opposed to just outright dropping equipment. If getting the money back is of no concern, it's faster to leave the shop and then drop all of the equipment.
And we'll see what Kaiten decides to do next after the Earth Cave. He's flying north, so I think he's going to pick up the Oxhail.
Yeah, my guess is he's going to head to C next. It is the largest concentration of chests in a dungeon that's required.
And I did not see the tail in his inventory there, so it looks like he did not go back and pick it up.
And we have heal potions in the Gaia item shop. Meanwhile, I see 2 bats, but not the third. Getting a little nervous about the bat situation for show.
Yeah, it makes you want to find the person on the squares on the Final Fantasy 1 team that thought it was a good idea to put those bats in one space corridors. And maybe tell them a few things.
Oh no. Oh no. Show being very gutsy pushing that bat down. There have been many times where I have pushed an NPC and then he has immediately moved in the direction that I was trying to go.
So those who were watching last night's matchup got to see some very entertaining Gerwolves. Grey wolves, whatever you want to call them. They were entertaining last night. They opened with light 3. There's Sho working his way to the big treasure room here in Earth Cave. Can't hold the cloth. I don't think he'll lose any sleep over not picking up that cloth. He will warp to get past that floor faster.
And a good move to warp there saves it saves some steps, and in the grand scheme of things, it'll probably save him one encounter.
And it looks like Kaiten is going to go up to the Waterfall before going into any dungeons. He does have the Oxhail, so I assume from here we'll see him go to Sea Shrine. But this is our first look at Waterfall.
Yeah, and I would expect Sho to be headed over to Sea Shrine next.
Personally, I like to do Mirage Tower Sky Castle first, if I have that option.
That's also a good choice, but I feel Sky Castle takes a very long time to clear out. What I'll usually leave it up to is my routing on the overworld. If I know where the bottle is early, I'll do Sea Shrine early. But if I haven't seen the bottle yet and it's not in the caravan, I'll take the gamble that it's in on-rack. And if it's not in on-rack, then I can do Mirage Tower.
Nightmares shows that they have heat. That's not going to be too much of a concern, but those nightmares can always make me a bit nervous because sometimes their ability to dodge is ridiculous. And our look at the chests here, just some money so far. And the power staff, so nothing to write home about out of those chests. Of course, I can't think of anything that I've found in a Final Fantasy 1 chest that I've ever wanted to write home about, so that's not really a good metaphor.
I mean, the one ribbon that you were looking for, if you found it in the Phantom chest, I don't know, I totally would write my parents about that. They probably think I was crazy, but...
And we see Lich go down. At the 1 hour mark, Sho has cleared the Earth Cave. Having not found the crown, he's now got 2 dungeons available to him. I believe he did translate the slab, so we may see him go pick up the chime next, or he may go to the waterfall next. But based on direction, I'm thinking chime. Or Oxael, if he didn't get that yet.
He may do both.
Something I like when you're in the neighborhood, double up your trips whenever you can.
Invis 2 in the level 7 shop.
We also haven't seen the white shirt yet. Not a I'm gonna hunt it anywhere it may be item, but definitely one you like to have rather than not.
And especially with a party like Kaiten's, if you can get items like the white shirt, the black shirt, the Thor hammer, Zeus gauntlet, mage staff, you can hand them to the thief and they can actually contribute in fights.
So we've seen a route divergence. Kaiten has gone to Sea Shrine instead of Earth Cave. I always love to see when the runners have taken different strategies. It just makes it more entertaining for me.
Yeah, it looks like Sho is gonna fight this Zombo pack, and he saved so close to it. I would much rather reset.
If you have the save there, maybe you want to find out what they have now instead of being in Temple of Fiends. So we're at the 1 hour mark. Let's do a quick recap here. This is obviously Kaiten versus Sho. This is the Garland bracket, so it's win or go home. This matchup is played under the round 2 flags, which includes 1 forced party member, that is the white mage. Skills and enemy spells are shuffled in this round. Experience is 5 times normal. Enemy stats scale up to 140%. Items they have found: in the Fiends Temple, they picked up the floater. In Matoya's Cave, they found the TNT. The bottle was in the item shop at Crescent Lake. The tail was in the Volcano. And Sho found the slab in Ice Cave. So we are still looking for the crown for required items. Apparently I made an unintentional pun because somebody picked up a cap when I said recap.
Well, it'll be the recap when Sho picks that up on his way through. And it looks like that's where Sho is headed right now. Straight over to the Sea Shrine. And having burned all of those cabins early, he uses 1 more, and now he is... he's in good shape as far as his menu management. The heal potions are in the bottom left.
Was that a cabin that Kaiten just picked up?
That it was.
Okay. Saw the sea, just wanted to be sure. But it went by so fast, I was pretty sure.
Yeah, it was always one of those things where you get faked out. It's 5 letters, it starts with C, I'm looking for the crown, and oh.
Kaiten picking up the Sun Sword, so... That's a happy red mage. Or happier.
That is an unhappy thief.
Sho about to head up to the waterfall where he will get the cube and not much else. And we get a look at the waters here. Okay, I'm going to use it also as a chance to use the heal helmet and get a little more health back before getting up to Kraken.
Sho trying to help us out by looking for out of bounds bat, but no, neither runner saw it, so runs are valid.
Sho will exit out, and then we assume we'll go into the Sea Shrine. Although he's proved us wrong before. But just considering he's right here, it's pretty safe to say that's what he'll do. He's going to take this fight with the Nacho.
And Kaiten is about to get into a fight with an angry octopus.
Is it an octopus or a squid?
Whatever it is, it usually kills people in one shot, so.
I guess angry would be the more significant trait here. 500 damage opening hit from the black belt. And Kraken answers back with a nice hit of his own. But the second nuke is going to be all she wrote for Kraken.
400 damage back, and that is why, against any Kraken fight, I am going to move the black belt out of the front slot.
Ooh, is Sho going to go see the mermaids first?
It looks like Sho's going to take the right side, and I don't hate this. He's looking for one progression item, but he also has not found any ribbons. And if he feels like he needs to pick up a couple of ribbons before go mode, then looking for 3 items, just go for where the chest density is.
And it looks like they're going to be able to high-five each other because Kaiten is thinking the same thing. And I definitely like that play. When you're looking for items, don't leave chests in a dungeon behind you. Just begging to have to come back for it. Now, there is one treasure chest they will not be able to open because it is locked by the Mystic Key. Sho will pick up some incidental levels along the way, which is important.
And there's those ghosts. They seem like they had a fair amount of HP, but not much is going to resist a nuke and a fade at these seed levels.
Which makes you very happy that you got them at a low level, not only because you got to use them in the early game, but that you have so many charges of them for late game. The
Right.
Mage Staff, useful. Free fire 2 casts.
That'll pay off almost immediately against these ghosts. Oh,
There's a ribbon.
there's one.
Funny, we saw Sho walk away from it, and then he said, wait.
It's, you do the old stutter step, you're expecting it to be absolute garbage, and then, wait a minute.
You always want at least the one, but you're hoping for more.
Now, what'll be interesting is if both Sho and Kaiten end up full clearing all of the Fiend dungeons, that would logically lead Kaiten directly into the slab.
Well, Sho, I think we're going to see. Well, he's going to have to finish clearing water here first, but then he's pretty automatic to go to Sky from here, which now looks like that's going to be where we find the crown. Could be Ordeals, but statistically more chests in Sky.
Hey, it could always be in Marsh too.
This is true. Kaiten will still need Earth, however, so
yeah, and I think
he does not yet know that the crown is not here, and it looks like he's gonna find that out.
Yeah, so Kaiten is likely to do Earth and then Ice next, as Ice has the most chests out of all of the optional areas.
I don't think we'll see Kaiten do an optional dungeon before he does the required ones, so I'd expect him to go to Sky from here.
Without the slab, he can't even get into Mirage Tower, though.
I'm sorry, you're correct.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, though, and I think just the fact that nothing is in Earth is actually going to push him in the right direction.
You will have Castle Ordeals as his other major option. Ordeals, Ice, and Marsh are your choices. Marsh will actually be the closest on the map to him.
And Marsh isn't terrible once you've leveled up your party. The ambushes are still going to happen, but just as you see on Kaiten's side, when you get ambushed, everything that ambushes you runs away.
Which is a little bit faster, I believe, than you running away yourself, so
yep.
That's not bad. So what'll be really fascinating is if we see Sho go to Sky and that is not where Crown is. Would make things a little more interesting. Being asked if this is best of one, yes, this is a win-or-go-home match.
A lower bracket match between Kaiten and Sho.
And someone asked for it earlier, Sho has officially recapped. I'm sorry I went there, but I was set up for it and I had to.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Sho's trip down to Kraken should be pretty quick. He's definitely got the levels for it.
A comment in chat, I thought it would be faster for you to run than have them run. It's dependent on the number of enemies in the formation. Each enemy running takes like slightly more time than it would take for you to input the run command, and there's always the chance of you run failing as well. Whereas if you have enough morale to be absolutely terrifying, or if you have enough levels to be absolutely terrifying to the enemy, if they all run away, then that's going to save you a little bit of time. But in the case of, say, like 8 or 9 arachnids, it's going to take a while for them all to run away. So that may be where you lose time.
It's also interesting. We saw the tail was in Volcano, and Kaiten, if I'm not mistaken, did pick it up, but then lost it in a wipe, so should in theory know where it is, but made no effort to go back for it.
And I think with the seeds, the way the stats are, it's not really crucial for Kaiten to go back. It would certainly help, but it's not a requirement. And
Though
I'm
if we
sure,
do see him go to Ice Cave, then it'd be interesting if maybe he does that while in the area.
Kaiten feels very grumpy about getting the ruby.
Now Sho getting the Sun Sword.
Yep, and Kaiten having a bit of bat luck.
So right now the biggest difference we're looking at between these two runners was Sho's decision to go to Ice Cave after he finished the Volcano. He was in the area, he had Warp, felt like that was the play he wanted to make and did. So he's sitting here with the Slab, which is one step closer to Endgame than Kaiten is. Kaiten will have to clear out the Earth Cave only to find out it's not here, nor is the crown. So he'll still be looking for 2 major items while Sho is only looking for 1.
And Kaiten also has a level advantage on the black belt as well, although Sho has been fighting some experience-rich mobs when the opportunity presents itself, so he should have level 32 by the time he sets foot in Temple of Fiends, and that's more than enough.
About to get our second look at Kraken.
And if Kraken one-shots Sho, this or the black belt, that's okay. That's a little safe. I was worried about the double temper going on the black belt when he was in one-shot range.
$280 damage, significant, but not going to be enough. And I think we'll see Kraken go down this round. He will. So the water orb is restored for Sho. And most likely we'll see him head to the Mirage Tower.
And meanwhile, Sho tries to run from an unrunnable fight. The Wiz Ogres may or may not appear in this fight, but if you see Cerebuses in the area outside Onrak, you can't get away.
It's always interesting to how much more you can learn about a game through Randomizer than you can even with vanilla. Maybe more true in other games, but still, you start dissecting logic and things about the game differently than you would in just a casual playthrough.
Yeah, you think about the core mechanics of the game in a way that's different from the way you would think about it just playing through. Thinking about the intricacies of the encounter table, all of that. They're very minute details that you start paying attention to, and it's pretty interesting.
We see our second ribbon is on the first floor of the Mirage Tower.
Oh, Sho dropped the cap. He also, I think, forgot to equip the ribbon, the second ribbon. So the black belt is twice as safe. And I don't understand why anyone would drop a cap. It's a really stylish cap. It's one of those throwback Milwaukee Brewers caps with the glove logo. That's the M and the B put together. Thing looks great.
I think you're on your own on that one.
Oh, showing my age again.
Okay, you're not on your own. Will's got your back. This room always a nice one to check, even if you're in go mode, just because there's so many chests together, and you might find the third ribbon. And he still has that second ribbon on the black belts. I guess he wasn't looking there when he menued.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a theory. Needing it for the pigtails. Gotta have one for each side.
He's using one ribbon as the black belt.
Oh, meanwhile, Lich is about to go down, but not before he uses Thunder. And knocks out the white mage for Kaiten.
Oh, that's rude. It's a good thing everyone does Lich last. But if this was a Lich percent seed, this certainly would have been interesting.
Being asked what the exact quote is from the window in Sky Castle, and, well, I couldn't be exact, is why I can't give you an answer on that one. But it does say something to the effect of you see the whole world and you see the power from the 4 shrines gathering at the center of the world, the Temple of Fiends, which is your clue to go back there. And Kaiten has gone to the ice cave, so without restoring his white mage?
I think he may have been a little hasty. But, if you don't get into any enemy encounters, then why would you ever need a white mage?
Well, Warp would be the key spell he would want. Oh, hey, we get a look at an eye for 2 seconds before Sho decides to just one-shot him.
Yep. Gives him the old Three Stooges poke in the eye, and away he goes.
Sho is on the hunt for the crown. He also wouldn't mind finding the Mossmune. He's found all 3 ribbons now. And the white shirt would also be better than somebody walking up and slapping you for no reason.
The show is very well equipped for the end game, and my guess is he will get level 32 fairly early into the Temple of Fiends.
Kaiten did not use the warp strategy. Did he get that for his red mage?
I hope so.
Sho will take a pass on the second heal helmet.
We have Frost Dragons with Galare, and having all those ribbons is very nice for that.
And they have sleep as well, it seems.
And looks like it put the stream to sleep, but and we're back.
By the way, for anyone unfamiliar, those odd-colored tiles in the ice cave do cause damage, just the same as lava does. I think this was the room with Slab, so Kaiten about to find it. And he does. So not quite even with Sho, but not at a huge disadvantage.
Another question in chat: how much of Marsh was checked? Absolutely nothing. Oh, we have the Were Sword. Somewhere Kaba is happy about that pickup.
And a few more treasure chests for Sho to check. If not, then do you go Ordeals or do you go Marsh?
It's 10 chests versus 9 chests, so I would just keep playing the numbers.
Question: is crown required for any reason? Well, not the crown per se, but what the crown gives you, because you have to get the mystic key, and we find the power gauntlet here. You have to find the mystic key, get the mystic key to be able to complete Temple of Fiends Revisited, or you will be locked, and hopefully you have exit or warp, or that'd be a very bad day.
And Sho finally notices the double ribbon.
Well, power gauntlet will go nicely in that slot.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone from pigtails to a ponytail.
There's the Mossmune.
Oh gosh, all of the good stuff is in here. 2 ribbons, Mossmune, power gauntlet.
He's gonna clean up his inventory as well.
Oh, he dropped the Were Sword! And the Pain Sword too, so no Pain Strats versus Tiamat today.
But still will need the crown. And otherwise, I think the only useful item we haven't seen at this point would be the white shirt. Unless I'm forgetting one.
Oh, I've not seen white shirt.
We also didn't see Excalibur, or Adamant for Excalibur, but that wouldn't be helpful in this case.
Sho finding $10 though.
And Kaiten's going to make his way down to talk to the supposedly advanced civilization who is incapable of talking with or accessing the rest of the world.
I mean, all they do is just have toga parties all day. What do they need the rest of the world for?
Well, they don't have an item shop, so medicine.
The 7th Saga fanfare on the 10 gold chest.
Okay, chat, what do you think? Are we getting a war mech? You have to take a breath when you get that flash right before Tiamat's room. And we did not see fast, did we?
Doesn't look like it, but double temper on a level 32 black belt is certainly going to do the job in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Also does have the power gauntlet as well now.
Yeah, he's pretty well set as far as what he needs to make it through Temple of Fiends. Except for the crown.
Alright, let's put this up to chat. Put yourself in Sho's shoes. Or at Sho's keyboard, whatever you want to call it. Put yourself in Sho's role. From here, do you go to Ordeals or do you go to Marsh? Take your pick right now. Which one would you do? Call it in advance.
My guess is, because of the relative proximity of Ordeals to where Sho is right now, that's where he's going to go first.
I'll be contrarian. I'll say I'd go Marsh first because I know stuff's going to run away from me and I think it would actually be faster. But based on Sho's positioning, I think he is thinking Ordeals.
And good guy Sho running from the Tyros. Same with good guy Kaiten.
I was bored one day and actually counted the steps based on the 2 places you could land the airship to walk here, and this is the faster spot. But it's still an annoying walk. So Kaiten will soon find some ribbons and the Masamune and Power Gauntlet and still be wondering where the crown is.
Alright, and with shuffled Ordeals, we'll see where Sho ends up.
And by shuffled, you're referring to the pillars. They will not necessarily lead to their vanilla location.
And it's a good thing Sho has those 3 ribbons, because this ambush would have been really awful to deal with.
You're never done fighting zombies. There's always another one. I think there's more zombie bulls than there is regular ones.
It seems like the teleporters were pretty kind to Sho.
Yeah, I'd say he got through there pretty fast. He found his way out, and now he's on the floor where he'll get all the treasure. Worth noting, he bypassed a room that had 1 treasure chest in it. He does that because the contents are mirrored on this floor without having the required fight in front of it. So, a little easier and quicker to get it here. There's the crown.
And there's the crown. And we'll see if Sho just exits out or opens another chest. And he just leaves. I guess the white shirt just not appealing enough for him to crack open more chests.
Somebody cheering, saying... Guest Ordeals just picked the wrong chest by 2, so cheering? Okay.
Alright, well, thank you for the bits, Dee. Much appreciated. Question in chat, where was Tail? Tail was in Volcano. 2nd floor, upper left, guarded by the fire elementals.
So Sho, it will be in go mode now, and it will be a pretty significant lead, I think, as Kaiten is still going to have to finish up Sky Castle, including looting everything, and then he has to figure out where he's going next, and hopefully makes the same gamble of going to Ordeals.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sho has, with the 3 ribbons, has no incentive of opening Crown Chest. He's just going to talk to this lonely old king who turns out to be Astos in a terrible twist.
What do you think people were thinking when they ran into this king anyways, who's sitting in this destroyed castle with no subjects, just some empty paths? He's apparently not a very good king.
I thought he was sketchy. He's asking me to go get the crown. Well, why don't you do it, buddy? What's in it for me?
And he takes the crown to get the crystal to get the herb to feed to the prince that gives you the key that opens the door to get to the house that Jack built. Or something to that effect.
Pretty good summation of the old fetch quest here.
Kaiten continues to work his way through the Sky Castle. There's a hole in the bucket. Let's not bring Liza into this.
And
So
for Kaiten, those are some man cats. And for Sho, smooth first floor.
the 135 mark sees Sho enter Temple of Fiends Revisited.
And he's trying to get away from some bad men. Finally does.
And again, he's pretty well equipped for this stage of the game. Could still potentially see a Gatekeeper Fiend.
And Sho being very economical with his spell charges, using the Mage Staff and the Black Shirt. Black Shirt I don't necessarily agree with, but the Mage Staff is going to clean up.
Let's see, we also didn't find Zeus Gauntlet or Thor's Hammer along the way.
Oh, looks like the Frost Wolves had a little bit more HP than they normally do.
And Kaiten now gets the Moss Immune, so never something you're unhappy about finding, even if it's not the item you were looking for.
So a question in chat, what makes Sho so far ahead of Kaiten? A little bit of the routing, but also Sho left Volcano at 25 where Kaiten left at 32. And Kaiten's grind took a little bit longer. They started at roughly the same point, but Sho was level 14, while Kaiten was about level 9 or 10, I believe.
So the zombie dragons saying, "You shall not pass until you carve us up and leave us behind." In other words, they're unrunnable, so you're going to have to get rid of them.
And he's got, fortunately, the Masmune is going to help him make short work of these. It's nice to find the Masmune, even if you do have a power level black belt, because it lets you get through these large monster 4x groups pretty quick.
So it is obviously a significant advantage for Sho at this point, but nothing is certain, and we've seen plenty go wrong in Temple of Fiends Revisited for plenty of seeds. He does have those 3 ribbons, though, which is very nice. Kaiten, I believe, will end up with the same now. And we get our first look at Lich Revisited. Speaking of first looks, if this is your first look at the Final Fantasy I Randomizer, hope you come join us at the Discord and find out more. You've got plenty of help and resources available. And Lich goes down. Not healing up the Black Mage. Sho leaving him there on low life.
He has plenty of life charges. Maybe he's just trying to save some menuing.
Well, now he'll go ahead and heal up before the fight with Carrie.
Not going to take any chances. And, oh, wow.
Carrie has the nuke of the 2 that are out there.
And likes to lead off with it. And those extra levels Sho put into the mages are certainly paying off here. If they were not level 25, it's a very good chance that they'd be face down on the ground.
And that could have really wrecked the run, so Sho has made about every good decision there is to make in this run.
I believe with the promotion, he was able to pick up life on the Red Mage, so that It wouldn't have been disastrous, but it would have eaten up a lot of time and resources. And this water fight, if Sho's black belt isn't already level 32, this should push him over the tip.
31.
No, level 31.
Close.
So another water fight ought to do it, but Sho may just finish this without actually getting that big power spike.
Wondered if he might take an extra fight on the way to Kraken, or maybe get to Kraken first in case you've run runnables. I would certainly like to have that 32 before Kraken.
Yeah, I agree. Especially the last three Fiends, or the last two Fiends in Chaos. You just want to get those fights done with as fast as possible.
Well, looks like he'll decide 31's enough. Top off his heals, and why wouldn't you? And our first look at Kraken. And goodbye to the Black Mage.
Oh gosh, that was 700 damage on 8 hits. Kraken looks to have rolled pretty high as far as strength goes. And Sho is just gonna burn another one of those defenses. Meanwhile, we have Kaiten running into Warmech. And those Fog 2 casts paying off already. He did not one-shot that White Mage.
One nice thing about the character being dead instead of low life is the life 2 is a much faster way to heal back to full.
Yeah, sometimes that's just a creative way to save time and save menuing and save inventory items. If you have 7 casts of life 2, you might as well just let one guy die and pick him back up.
When you're sitting there thinking about fights you'd like to get on the air floor, this is not one of them.
No, especially not when they're hitting as hard as they are. Now, fortunately, you should be able to get through this fight fairly quickly, but the black belt is almost dead at this point.
And there go the worms. And Kaiten will restore the last door, but now he has the big decision to make about where he goes to look for the crown. And that is not the direction of Ordeals. Or is he just taking the long way around? No, he looks to be going to Marsh Cave to me.
Well, on the other hand, we'll at least get to see what's in Marsh Cave.
Oh, meanwhile, we do have a look at Tiamat, who's gonna give off a lightning 3. Also looks like he had stun.
And 600 damage hit from Sho.
Follows up with a lightning 2.
So one of the junk lit 2s, courtesy of Kraken.
And Sho gets through without another fight, so we're about to see see Chaos at the 144 mark.
Alright, whatever you do, Sho, do not cast exit.
So that was a 9-minute trek through Temple of Fiends, for those keeping track at home.
Yeah, Pretty smooth for show. Had some early problems with the unrunnables, but after that, pretty smooth, and no gas dragons if I remember correctly.
It sounds right to me. Apparently, Kaiten was able to find the white shirt. Non-terrible find, but we know he's not going to find the crown here. He did find the Vorpal and the katana, so apparently this is a pretty loaded marsh cave with stuff. I think we're also going to find the adamant here.
Yeah, it was both katanas and the Vorpal, so the high crit rate special on that top floor there.
GG to show. Chaos is down. The time loop is broken.
All in under 1:45:54 too. So GG to show. Lives to see another day.
And I'm going to get ready on Discord. Hopefully we'll have Show come in here and join us. And it looks like we're going to see Kaiten continue on for now. We'll see if he opts to continue on after finding out Crown is not here in the Marsh Cave. One of the wizards opting to run away and save a little bit of time. And they guard about 10,000 gold.
And with that, I think we have Show here.
Hello, hello.
Good game to you, sir. Well played.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
So that ice cave had to feel really good.
Yeah, it definitely paid off with the slab being in there.
What made you decide to take that gamble on Ice Cave?
Well, usually if there's nothing in Volcano, I tend to go to Ice first, because it generally has, a decent number of chests, plus I had Warp, so I could do the Warp trick. So, that's why I went there first. And I don't like going to Marsh, and I definitely like to avoid Ordeals if possible.
I don't think Kaiten is much of a fan of Marsh at this point either, because that's where he opted to go after not finding Crown.
And it looks like Kaiten has forfeit.
Oh.
Yeah, so he now realizes that it would have been in Ordeals.
I see. Oh.
So it was interesting with that late Crown, did kind of force you to pick up a lot of treasure along the way. You both got all 3 ribbons.
Yeah. Crown was probably anywhere else. I probably would have skipped a whole lot of things.
Where was Crown?
It was in Castle Ordeals.
I am kicking myself for this right now.
Right before you joined us, Show was telling us he's not a fan of going to Marsh over Ordeals, and I said you probably weren't much of a fan of it now either.
I was hoping that Ordeals was not the place. I was hoping it was Marsh.
Yeah, I got lucky because I went there after I did Mirage and Sky. I figured it's close. Rather do that first than go to Marsh.
I didn't want to gamble on the shuffle the puzzle on that Ordeals. That's why I gambled on Marsh.
I totally understand.
Just so you know, Kaiten, Show also made the decision to go to the ice cave right after Volcano.
Did you do this? Did you do this?
I think I did after Sea Shrine or Earth. I don't know where I did it.
I believe you're correct. It was after you had done Sea and Earth, and it was one of the 3 locations it could be, so you picked Ice Cave first. Chad, any questions for either of our runners? Feel free to chime in with those.
Whew.
So we saw Carrie had one of the nukes. How much fun was that? You were probably happy you grabbed a couple levels on your mages.
Yes. Once I saw that nuke, I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't crit, because that would have been pretty much GG on that one.
But
Wait, TFR was friendly?
TFR, Carrie had nuke, but everything else was pretty friendly.
I should have continued, but I'm running out of time.
Yeah, we saw you stopped your grind at 32. Were you considering it going further than that?
No, because since I had the thief with me, I wouldn't risk going to 42.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I accidentally had 2 ribbons on my black belt.
What?
Yeah, once I noticed that, I switched it over to whatever mage I put it on.
I found all 3.
Yeah, I had all 3 as well. Are pigtails in fashion for martial artists? I don't know. I don't have pigtails, but I've been doing martial arts for 27 years.
Well, we will look forward to your next matchup in the Garland bracket here. Your opponent was watching you tonight.
Well, he beat me earlier today by like 13 minutes. So I definitely look forward to have my matchup with Bratster. He's a very good runner.
Let me throw this at both of you, starting with Kaiten. What's one takeaway you have from playing in the tournament?
I say this was a challenge to me, and to be honest, I'm ready for the next tournament.
All right, Sho, how about yourself? One thing you took away from this tournament?
Well, never underestimate anybody. My first opponent was Files, and he was fairly new to the community and to this randomizer, and he ended up getting the best of me. And I've been racing this one since January, so you never know. So yeah, just to make sure you practice a lot. But anyone can do really well in this randomizer.
Well, we thank you both for the run tonight. Edge, any final questions for our runners?
No, I think that about covered it. Good games to you both.
Oh, thank you.
GG.
GG, Kaiden. Make sure you follow the commentators and follow our tracker, restreamer Shailisa, and thank you, Fiesel, for hosting us.
Indeed, Speed Gaming has been a great friend of the tournament. Fiesel has been a big supporter, and we all really appreciate it. And we all really appreciate all of you who tuned in to watch tonight's match. There's plenty more ahead of the randomizer tournament. Recommend joining the Discord, and you'll be updated every time we have a race going on. The brackets continue to be updated. SAR keeps on top of that really well. And that is our only matchup in the Final Fantasy 1 randomizer tonight, but stay tuned. We should have plenty more ahead this week. So again, thank you all of you who have watched, and we'll wish you all a good night and look forward to whatever is ahead.
Thanks again, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.